Alright, just finished watching the little bit of bells that I got, and I'm just going to do the same thing as I did last time. Little unpack from the trip to Portugal. So, once again I didn't have the right boards, and this is really frustrating for me because, you know, I know I can do so much better. This time I did a lot better actually. I surfed a lot better. I was a lot happy with my surfing, and that's all got to do with what board I ended up buying when I was down there. So I flew in and landed the night before the comp. So I didn't get to surf before the comp at all. I just went straight out in the water into the heat. The heat went pretty bad for me because it was like below, not even this high. It looked really nice. The waves were like super beautiful, but not big enough for me. And the board I was riding was no good. And obviously first surf, I hadn't found my feet in the wax, or yeah. So I'm going to do a board review this time of all the boards I have and that I've been travelling with, and I'm going to give some really harsh feedback. So when I've been buying boards in the last however many years, I've been trying to buy sustainable boards, like, you know, epoxies that last a long time and work well. Yeah, they don't work as well as they should with... Yeah, okay, so I'll rip out the one that I rode in the comp. I have ridden this board really well. So it's a Lidtech. It's like it's an epoxy, but apparently it's super strong. They ran it over with a car and stuff. And for what I bought it for, it works really good. So this is my sort of go-to kite surfing board. I rode it with wax on it first, and I get a massive heel imprint from when I'm riding with the kite. So then I took all the wax off and put grip on the front. And because it has such a really skinny rail, when I'm riding it with the kite, it doesn't, and I'm always edging, it doesn't like bounce out of the water very well. But for the waves that we were surfing, it just doesn't have the refined shape that you need for the board to come up and get going as quick as it needs to. So this is what I rode in the comp. It didn't go well for me. So yeah, and the heat was so slow. Like, the heat was it was hot. It was going high, and the tide was getting fuller and fuller and fuller, and the waves and the sets just stopped coming, and you know, it just made it so much harder for my campaign. Anyhow, so that's the one board that I'll keep that. I like that when I'm kiting. It works really well. So this is the other board that I had in mind on using for the comps. This is a great board, don't get me wrong. It's good when it's big. At a 6'2", at 33 litres, it's too big for me for what I want it to do. I wanted it to surf in like really good waves and high performance and my go-to stick. And I was going to order this in a 6.0, and if I had got this in a 6.0, I wouldn't have had to buy another board. But shit happens, make those mistakes and move on. I don't plan on using this much anymore. I'll probably put it in the car when I go on the tour. So the tour goes 5 to 6 weeks in a row. 5 weeks in a row, and then so I'll drive to all of those. I'll have this in the car as a step up just in case it gets huge. I rode this in double overhead down in Morocco and it went well. I've got different fins now as well. So with the large fins, this doesn't turn very well, so I'm not going to destroy this one. I'm going to try to keep it in good shape and use it when it's bigger. But it still does funny things, so it won't be my go-to board if it's big in a comp. But I keep it in the quiver. This was going to be my groveler. This is the Gamma. That one was the FRK. This was going to be my groveler, and I was going to buy this in 511, and I got confused and I ended up getting 6 foot, and this is way too big. So when I go to get up on this, and I go to put it in the, like I was talking about with the other one, when I go to put it on rail, it does this wobble bounce thing like this, where it doesn't dig in, and that's just because it's got way too much volume for me. So this one, I've got an idea. It's a pretty crazy idea. To take the volume out of it, I'm going to cut it in half lengthways, take out this much of the center, glue it back together, and try it like that. There's so much money into this board that even just to cut it in half, even for me to just cut it in half and put it back together, I think if it works out, then I can still use it as a groveler in really shitty small beach breaks, and that's what I need for the comps. Because if I was on this board in the comp at 30 litres or at 32 litres or 31.5 litres, it probably would have went much better than the LibTech one. So yeah, I'll put a post up when I cut it in half. Everyone's gonna fucking probably scream and yell at me, but that's alright. I don't care. I have an idea, and like what they said, I talked to a ding repairer in Portugal, and he said everything's experimental. So yeah, I'm gonna cut this one in half lengthways, take some volume out of it, squish it back together, and put a new fin box, because I only have to replace one fin box. Put a new fin box in it. I might upcycle the leash plug, put that back in, so it'll be a lot skinnier. I'm going to try to take an inch and maybe an inch and a half out of it, so it'll end up being 18.5 or 19 wide instead of being so 20 wide. Oh, so that's the quiver that I was hoping to ride, and then I'll talk about fins, and then I'll talk about the new fins I got, which went really well in the new board. So these are future fins. I'm riding all future fins at the moment because except for on my old glass boards, the skips, I have to have the first of FCFs because they got the little things in. So this is a medium fin. It's a pivot fin. I think it's called the WQS fin. WCT HC thruster fin. This went really good. Hums. When you get the board going fast, it really makes some noise, which I like. It shows that my surfing has got a lot better. So that's what I'm using. Obviously it's a medium. I thought medium was too little for me, but actually a medium's good for me. It held in when the board is deep in the water. It slides off the top really nice, and I'm super happy with those. I'm gonna get those in the other tech, the Alpha Tech I think it's called as well, because the Alpha Tech's a little bit more flexible. So yeah, those are the fins I'm riding. Now, the piste de resistance, the thing that the thing that made me so happy about my surfing down in Portugal, and it's going to surprise people that it's a PU, but it's a PU, and it's got this dude on it. So yeah, this thing, I don't know how I found it. I've ridden a board like this once before, and I got a board like this once before in Indo, in Bali, off the rack, second hand, and ended up giving it to a friend, and he rode the shit out of it and loved it. But I haven't ridden a board like this in a long time. So this board does exactly what I want to do on a wave. You know, I can take off, I can trim early if I want to get barreled. I can take off and take the drop and turn off the bottom, and it goes like zip, like a rocket ship. I really enjoyed riding this. I think the sander did a really good job, because you can still see a little bit of the tape on the fin boxes where they put tape on before they've sanded it. So it's been really lightly sanded and sanded pretty perfectly. It's got the carbon on the tail, so I shouldn't have to worry about, you know, smashing my, because I've never had carbon on a tail before, and most of the time my tail would just get destroyed just here, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I started going with PU. I mean with epoxy, because I had an understanding that they'd be a lot stronger, but now they've got carbon there. I think this will stand up to my heavy footedness. I'm not sure what model it is. It's a Proctor board. It's 30.1 litres, and it's 6.0, 19 and 2.5. Very simple dimensions in my mind. I can understand it. You know, when the boards were a lot longer, I used to ride 2 3/8 and 18 1/4 or 18 1/2. So, and at 6.4-ish. So now I've come down a lot in length and volume. I don't know about volume because I'm still new to that shit stuff. But this thing, it rips. I'm going to change the little gubba. I'm going to change the dude a little bit. I'm going to make him my own. I'm going to put corks around his hat, and I'm going to put a surfboard under his arm, and I'm going to turn his briefcase into a skateboard. That's going to be my little touch on this board, but this is going to be my go-to board for all the comps. If it's grovel, if it's going to be grovel, I'm probably going to go for the Gamma, which is going to be cut in half and made skinnier, but we'll see. I'll test drive that a few times, but this thing ripped. Anything over waist height, you know, I could probably ride this in smaller waves as long as it's got a bit of punch, but anything over waist height up to shit, almost, yeah, it's pretty much as big as I could ride it. I'm going to use this. And I'm thinking about getting another one at 6.1 and use that as my groveler, which would have about 30.1 litres, but I don't know yet. I'm still coming to terms with the fact that I've got such a good board. Yeah, so that's the roundup of the trip in Portugal. I had some really sick waves, and I rode the comp side a couple of times in a couple of different conditions, and I was really happy with the way I was surfing. So now all I have to concentrate on, so the comps start in August. Oh yeah, and then I took my skateboard as well. I was a bit pissed that you had to wear pads and helmet and all the armor in the skate park, but I got over that, and I actually put it all on and went for a skate, and it was freaking hot. Way too hot to be skateboarding, so, but I had to ride the ramp, you know, I have an addiction to board sports, so I had to give it a go, and I had fun on it, and it didn't hurt myself, which is always a good thing, but the ramp there was like brand new plywood, so it was super grippy. I couldn't do any of my normal revert tricks. I just had to stick to like grinds and airs, and so yeah, that was fun. But it was too hot, and I got a little bit too much sun. One day I got sunburn on my face. It was not nice, all burn across my head, and that was just because I was in the water a long time too long. I had a couple of days where I surfed like, you know, upwards of 6 hours, because it was like I said on the Instagram post, you know, there was just so many waves. There was like peaks over here at low tide, peaks over there at high tide, peaks over there. It was just like too much going on. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, the comp start in August over in England, down in Cornwall. So I'll go over there on the 3rd of August. The first event's called the Board Masters, and then from there we go to across the ditch or the channel to France. We drive down to Lucknow, a place I've never surfed, so that's gonna be really fun. And then after Lucknow, it's Anglet in just near Brits. And then from there we go to the top of Spain, and then we go down into Portugal. So, and then week after week after week, so I should be able to get in a nice flow state and do really well. As long as they start understanding that the surfing I'm doing is actually good. Yeah. Alright. I had a great time in Portugal. All the people down there were super fun, super nice. I had a little bit of a situation one time, but that was my own fault, I think. I kind of found myself as a surfer again because of that board. That board just, you know, amazing. I already wrote an email to the company and said thank you for making such a sick board. Yeah, so until then, this is it. Now I've got to go. Now I'm back to work. Back to work for the next 3 months, and obviously working on my fitness. But I'm back to like day job. And not to forget, I'd like to thank them who I work for. So thanks a lot to Daniel and Ulf and Trixie and everyone from Earth Grav. It's really amazing that you've given me the opportunity to go and do this. And also Yuan, thanks mate. The help, the work you give me, mate, helps a huge amount. And yeah, so here goes. Look out. I think the guys in I think that everyone in the comps understand who I am now, and they I think they might understand that I have what it takes. So I'm looking forward to competing with these guys, and they rip. Most of them rip, you know. A lot of them are younger, so they don't have the experience as what I have. You know, when all my competition experience comes from like just riding waves, not hearing what's going on in the heats. So when you hear what's going on in the heats, it's kind of easy to make the decisions. You know, I've never had that before. All of my heats before have just been blind. you surf and surf and surf and surf and come in, and when you come in, you find out what happened. So yeah, this has been a 20-minute rant, so I'm going to say thanks very much, and wish me luck for the whole series. You!